Welcome back. We're back from the break, and of course, this being Valentine's, we're still in the Valentine's spirit right here on E Magazine. And of course, today we have a lovely guest. You guys, I promised you, Metropole TV KE, keep the conversation going. We have such an interesting conversation today. We will be talking about healthy relationships. How to know that you're in a relationship, in a healthy relationship, how to know that you are not in a healthy relationship, how to know when to pick out the red flags and run for your life. So today we are joined by a relationship expert. If I don't know if I should call her that, but she is an expert in this kind of things. Her name is Nyokabi. Nyokafi Kamau, and she's in the building. Karibu sana. Did I do the name justice? No?
You did the exact opposite, but thank you so much.
Is it
it's
nice
to have you. It's Nyokabi with a B-I.
Okay.
Yes.
Unajua sasa ukienda huko unasema Nyokafi.
Nyokafi.
It's like they don't know how to separate B and is it F?
F. Yes, but it's Nyokabi.
All right, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
What I do, my name is Nyokabi GK Kamau. I'm a relationship coach. I specifically specialize on matters relationship. And when you say the name relationship, people automatically assume you're talking about romantic relationships.
Yes.
Well, partly.
Yes.
I do romantic relationships, but mostly I major on business etiquette, personal relationships, all those relationships, spiritual relationships, every aspect of your relationship, we talk about it, we coach you, and we see how we can be able to help you build a healthier relationship and have meaningful relationships. So it's not just a romantic relationship.
All right.
See Dr. Love.
All right. That's very, very interesting to know.
Yes.
But maybe we can just delve, here and there. We talk about a little bit about, relationship, like romantic relationships.
Oh,
and
yes.
also we can talk about business relationships and then how they merge.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your background and what makes you a relationship expert.
Wow. I come from a very dysfunctional family. I don't know if you've seen this joke that's online where people say, oh, when you quote some nice stuff and you start saying some nice things, people say, character development.
Character development.
I'm telling you, I come from a character development background. I grew up in a very toxic environment, very abusive, physically, emotionally, every abuse you can think of. And when you come out from that kind of an environment, you either become an abuser yourself, you become very bitter, or you become a very scared person. So you really don't know how to be in relationships and how to stay in healthy relationships. And if you're not careful, you end up getting into an even worse kind of a relationship. So in order to avoid that, I found myself doing a lot of research on matters relationship, trying to understand the dynamics of relationships, how to better them, how to even have a healthy relationship with someone that is not necessarily resorting into an argument, into a fight, physical and abusive and all kinds of abuse. Being that I had come from that background, I also used to have a talent of answering questions about relationships. Strangely enough.
Really?
Oh yes, my relatives, my friends, everybody depended on me to solve their relationship problems. They'd come up.
And you had the issues yourself.
Yes. Oh, Nyokabi, I'm going through this. We'd sit down, we'd talk, we'd come up with a solution, we'd come up with a game plan, we'd implement, and the relationship would work.
Yeah.
But this was just coming from a talent point of view.
Okay.
But because of my background, it helped me to do a lot of research and read on it. And in the process of helping one friend, another friend, the circle just kept on and growing, and it kept on growing, and it kind of got out of hand, but we thank God that it is what it is today.
So so I'm glad you say that. How long have you been in the business? Now that you've told me that everybody, it's like it's all your life. So it's like a talent.
Yes.
But I'm sure with talent you need grooming, and you also need a little bit about a little bit of an educational background and some experience. So tell us when you started this business.
I went to school, I did BCom, believe it or not, and I majored in marketing, so it had nothing to do with relationships. But I'm currently now doing a course to help me be a certified coach. Yes. But
interesting.
Yes, before I went to the school of YouTube, where I learned from other coaches who are talking about relationships and teaching about relationships, and they really helped me a lot. I took online courses But thank God, because of the rise in coaches in this country, now our universities are offering.
Right.
You can go and become, you can do a course and you can become a certified coach. So I'm in the process of doing that. I've been doing that. I started my foundation, Awakening the Life Within You, in the year of 2013. So it's been growing since then. We're almost at 9 years, almost celebrating 10 years of doing the same. But majorly mentorship on young people, groups.
Right.
Majoring on groups,
Right.
kama ni youths, kama ni mothers, kama ni fathers, those kind of categories, and then we run them through those kind of programs, how they can build meaningful relationships.
All right. So in your years of being a coach,
Yes.
you've been, you know, in business forums, you've been in an office setup,
Yes.
you've been in a spiritual setup, like you've said. How then do you sometimes pinpoint, okay, this person might be actually going through, you know, an issue, you know, like does it click like a light bulb in your brain, like, okay, or you can identify this person, okay, has issues? Does it, you know, is it something like that?
It's an intuition. You can call it an intuition.
Yes, yes.
When you interact with somebody, when you have a gifting within you, any gifting that God has given you, and you interact with people,
Yes.
those people tend to pull that gifting out subconsciously, without their realization and without your realization. So what normally happens to me, even when I sit in a matatu, on my way going home, a stranger will totally tell me how their day was, what is happening to them.
Wow.
And strangely enough, they'll always talk to me about relationships. Oh, my marriage looks like this. Oh, my family looks like this. What can I do about this? So they always identify that gifting within me, and they'll always ask questions about it. But as I listen, I can be able to pick out where you are at, emotionally, mentally, what you're struggling with. And maybe from there, within that small period of time that we have, I can be able to resolve some of the challenges that you might be facing regarding relationships. So yes, I do get asked a lot of questions about relationships by all kinds of people.
So this is my question.
Wakubwa, wadogo,
So this would be my question to you, since everybody's really asking. And you know, I'm actually feeling very comfortable. It's like an
it's a thing.
It's a thing. So what would you say makes a healthy relationship in any aspect? The office, your marriage, in church, you know?
What makes a healthy relationship? Number one, it allows you to be yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
It gives you room to be who you are. There is no aspect of change this, improve that. You could do better if you look like this, if you walk like that, if you dress, if you talk like this, if you talk less, or if you talked more, or if you went out less, or if you went out more. There is no that aspect of change that is demanded from you, from the other person. Could be your boss, could be a romantic partner, anyone who is demanding a change from you that isn't positive, that comes across as a criticism or a correction of character, then it's not a healthy relationship. That's a red flag to look out for. But if you are in a relationship where you can truly be yourself, I will give you a very bizarre kind of an example. If you're dating somebody who you can't fart around, then you can't be yourself.
Yes, I've been saying this thing.
You can fart and you guys crack a joke about it, and you downplay it. You downplay it.
Oh, no. Yes, I've been saying this.
That's a healthy relationship. It allows you to thrive in your element, in yourself, in all your weaknesses and in your strengths. It allows you to be who you are. Yes.
And now the opposite. How then because we're talking to the youth today, and I think that so many youths have gotten into relationships that they're not supposed to, you know, get into, or have rushed into things without looking at the future of the relationship, e.g. what you're talking about. So for people at home listening and watching and are going through a relationship and they're wondering, okay, what is this? How does somebody pinpoint a red flag
in a relationship?
Yes.
Red flag in relation. We'll not talk about the obvious red flags. The physical abuse, the emotional abuse, the financial abuse. Those ones are obvious. You know this guy is abusing you.
Yes.
But you just choose to ignore it because you're afraid of it being alone.
Me. Is it love?
Or because I'm so nice, I'll change them.
Yes.
You know, we'll talk about the ones that people just don't realize that they're happening. The first one that you need to look out for is, how does this person make you feel? Right? When I'm hanging out with you, how do I make you feel? Because red flags don't only apply in romantic relationships, even in parental relationships. business relationship,
Okay.
people you work with. You
Parental.
yes, you come here and you find this guy in the end kwa camera and you're like, oh my God, today leo ni Kevo yuko. You know, how does that person make you feel? Do they make you feel lively? Do they make you feel vibrant? Do you enjoy their company? Do you have conversations with them and you leave feeling drained? That's a red flag. This is a person who isn't watering the relationship but is taking away from the relationship. And a person who is taking away from the relationship, in most cases, they're never willing to give. They just keep demanding more and more and more and more.
God.
And asking, give me this, give me this. And when you give them that, it's not enough. I want more. You could have done it this way. I'll give you an example. If you have somebody who you're working with, for example, in a work environment, and somebody invites you into their office and they tell you, I want you to be working with me. And they give you the job. They don't give you a job description. They don't tell you what are your working hours. They don't tell you how much they are going to pay you. But they expect you every single morning to be in that office. Today, you're the driver. Tomorrow, you're the tea girl. The next day, you're the accountant. So you really can't quantify your work. So therefore, there's no value. And they'll always give you what they want.
Yeah.
Are we together?
Right.
They'll always give you what they feel you deserve. So they'll give you handouts of maybe they give you 1,000 today, tomorrow they give you 10,000. The other time they give you 300. This is a person who you can't really understand. I work for this person, but you have nothing to show for it.
Why?
They even dictate the kind of a lifestyle you live.
Yes.
Because you depend on them.
Yes.
To facilitate
Yes.
your lifestyle. You come from that kind of an environment, of a working environment, you go into a romantic relationship. This is somebody who you go out of your way. For example, you buy a box of milk to save the running out of picking milk and what, and you decide to buy a box. So you have 12 packets of milk, right? And you've come with them into the house and you've put them there and you've said, there's milk now, there's no issue of kimbilia maziwa, buy milk. And they ask you, why did you go for Brookside and not Tuzo? So you're standing there and you're thinking, okay,
I just bought milk.
we've resolved the issue of running around to pick milk, but the person doesn't see where you are at. Yeah, naona what you could have done better.
Okay.
Is it getting home?
Yeah.
So that's how you begin to see those
Small red flags.
the small red flags that they leave you feeling unappreciated.
Yeah.
They leave you feeling like you've done something wrong. They leave you questioning your decisions and your actions. You know, things that you really can't put your hand on. You're just irritated about somebody, but you can't put your hands on it, right? That's one of the major red flags that you need to look at, how they leave you feeling. The second one, how do they communicate?
Okay.
Especially their negative feelings.
All right.
For example, I'm feeling frustrated about something. I'm feeling frustrated. Like now, for example, you're feeling frustrated that I got here late. I should have been here in a particular time, right?
Yes, yes.
There are two ways you could have communicated.
Why are you late?
Why are you late?
Yes.
What is going on? And I'm trying to explain,
Yeah.
okay, this dynamics, this happened. I did not anticipate
All right.
this, right? And I'm trying to put the equation in place, but you can't see that. You're stuck on the space. Why are you and why didn't you do better?
All right.
So in that feeling of negativity, how do they communicate?
Yes.
Do they attack you as a person? Do they sit back and say, okay, so that's what happened?
Right.
Well, I can understand, you know, I can relate, it happens, you know. I can, but next time, take into account it's Valentine and talk a bit earlier. You see the difference of the reaction. So the communication, how are they communicating their negative feelings towards you?
All right.
Yes.
So we're running out of time, so I'm just going to ask you maybe one or two questions. My director is telling me I do not have time, so I'm going to ask you this last question before we go. I wish we had so much time
Yes.
to talk about it, because the conversation is just getting, you know, I mean, interesting and more interesting.
Yeah.
How then do you make your environment healthy for you? How do you secure your space? It could be, you know, office. It could be home.
At home,
Yes. How do
In
you secure
any
space?
relationship, the best way to secure your space is to set healthy boundaries. And
Even with your husband, even
yes,
with your mother.
Yes, yes. Every relationship
boundaries with
requires
your mother.
boundaries. Wow, kwanza romantic relationship, they require boundaries. I don't know what is this thing with people thinking because we're in a romantic relationship, we don't need boundaries.
Yeah.
As in you can use my toothbrush, you can shit right in front of me. You need healthy boundaries. You need to set those healthy boundaries that gives you space to blossom, even with parents. And that's the hardest thing to do. The thing to note about healthy boundaries is they don't have to be healthy for the person that they're affecting. They just have to be healthy
for you.
for me. If I'm not okay visiting you every weekend, then I'll set that boundary. and I'll tell you, Mom, I cannot visit you every weekend.
Ooh.
But every other fortnight, I will do my best to come and do what? And visit you. Or maybe during the holidays, I will make an effort to make sure that I come and visit you. This is a very hard boundary to set with relatives, especially because in the Mediterranean, they keep going back and saying, oh, you nyinyi mulenda Nairobi, you don't care about us. But I tell them, you see, that Sunday that you want me to come and visit you is the Sunday I want to sleep and down. And tone down everything and just settle and calm down and let everything to relax. So I don't want to be traveling. Well, yes, I don't want to be in the vehicle traveling, trying to come and see you and then coming back starting Monday and running. But I will make an effort and be available for you. So those healthy boundaries help you to control the emotional manipulation that comes with it. It helps you to define your space. So people know when you come to my space, you come like this. If you come to my space and you think I have grown fat, you keep the opinion to yourself. Okay? If you think I'm skinny, please keep that opinion. You come to my space like this. Now, the thing about boundaries, you can decide what kind of a boundary that you want depending on the type of relationship. There are temporary walls that we can set up, or we call them life fences. This is a majani. There is a boundary, yes, but you can see through, you can pass anything through, you know, it's temporary, it's live, you can still access the person. But there are those permanent walls that we set up, yamawe, unless you jump and cross over, the boundary has been set. And it will take a lot of effort to jump over. So for the ones that are permanent boundaries like hizo za mawe zenye nakwambia, you set with toxic people, including those parents that are toxic. You set them, na unaweka perimeter wall ya ukweli ya mawe, and you put a gate. You permit by opening and you dismiss by closing. You allow them to come into your space when you need them, and when you don't need them, you close the gate. Set healthy boundaries.
Thank you so much. Our time is up. That was such an interesting conversation with Nyokabi herself. She's going to be coming back again so that we can have a little bit more conversation on so many other things, you know, affecting the youths and the viewers outside there. But guys, we have come to the end of E-Magazine today. It was such a beautiful day. Happy Valentine's to all of you out there. Happy Valentine's. And if you haven't celebrated, just, you know, coming from me, I wish you happy Valentine's. Metropole TV KU on all our social media platforms. If you did enjoy the show, let us know. I_am_Tamasha on all my social media platforms. Let them know your social media platforms before we say goodbye.
Nyokabi GK Kamau, all social media platforms.
All right. See you guys.